Right, ladies and gents, make his second appearance on the ANYTAPELADS podcast is Craig Hughes, formerly of GV, Granville University, Donnypace Juniors and Kilsyth Rangers. Like I say, you may have recognised Craig already in the podcast. I hope he's not wanting an appearance fee because he came to the right fucking show. But it's good to have him back on. It was a very poignant episode. We'll get into nitty-gritty of it as we go on. But Craig, mate, how you doing?
It's not bad, mate. Thanks for having me.
Aye, good, mate. First and foremost, like I say, we need to put us out there to kind of apology for doing this, mate, because, again, this was you that's actually put yourself forward to do this. No, I've no asked you. You've wanted to give it here and kind of put the message across to your own experiences. So I've only got adoration fees for doing that, mate, because personally, with anything I've got, I kind of struggle to talk with you. I've been through one of the biggest hardships you can go through in life with cancer. So fair play to you, mate. Fair play to you.
Well, I mean, my thinking was I kind of thought a lot of guys don't talk about stuff like this. It's tough. I'm the same. I'm kind of a closed book usually when it comes to stuff like this. But I think it's an important thing to talk about. I mean, there's folk went through a hell of a lot worse than I went through. But I think having the folk I spoke to going through it, they'd already been through it, that really helped me. So hopefully it's some folk can take it and raise awareness to it, because my head was in the sand about stuff like this as well. I'd never experienced.
Well, but a early curve for me as well, mate. I had a similar kind of experience. I was never diagnosed, but we'll go into that later on the show. But again, I'm not really clued up on how it goes with treatment and stuff like that, and even the whole process. So again, anybody watching who's maybe not sure and is maybe too fair to check to maybe get the bad news, maybe this will help them start checking things, going phone the doctors. I know it's quite hard now with kind of restrictions, stuff like that, but I think it's that. I think that first maybe step. So we'll go back to the start, mate. We'll start off with kind of lighter stuff. So football, obviously, I know you've been a show spoke about going to America, stuff like that. But where was it you grew up? Is it Kilsyth where you're free? You say if that's the Glasgow, aren't you?
To Kilsyth. So I've always grew up here and seen my debut as a big part of your life.
How was football for you growing up? Where was your boys' clubs and stuff like that you're playing with?
It's fine. I was mainly kind of local boys' clubs and stuff, and then got the opportunity to get to America. Knew I wanted to push it a wee bit further, as I kind of said before, and then I met the opportunity in the States. So it was a brilliant kind of life-changing opportunity. But I was the same as every other boy, just half off through your youth. Do you know what I mean? That was the only thing in your life, the biggest thing in your life. You know what I mean?
I think now, obviously, you're in tremendous shape now, considering. But you always pretty fit growing up, like, were you always... Because obviously I knew you were captain, obviously in America, stuff like that. You've played at a decent level as well. Have you always been a pretty fit boy and stuff like that?
I was always took the fitness fairly seriously. I think it really went up and up when I went to America. I got a fright. Before, like the fitness levels I had to up it in America. But ever since then, I've always kind of took my fitness pretty seriously. And even in the 30s playing juniors, I've always took it seriously and done the extra bits and kept myself in decent nick anyway.
Fair play, mate. So when you came back from America, what did you do once you came back to America? Because obviously that's probably the hardest thing I found to come back from America. But what did you do work-wise, football-wise and life-wise? Did you get your own gaff in that as such, or did you go back in with your family?
Well, I came back and then I ended up going back out. I got a coaching opportunity to go out to Midland, Nebraska, coached there for 2 years.
I remember you.
And then came back after that, was working again in the kind of scholarship industry, playing football where I was a couple of spells with Kilsyth and with Donnypace Juniors, just playing the juniors, and then eventually went on to work for Motherwell Football Club, so working and always involved in football, so that's pretty much that. It was a hard adjustment to come back. I think the lifestyle in America, you did but what a good things happened at home. Had a wee girl, she's coming up for 5 now, so that's been.
Is she 5 already?
She'll be 5 in June.
Jesus, man, Jesus. So, like you say, we've kind of built that kind of backstory of you being relatively healthy and stuff like that. You've had pretty successful kind of career in terms of football. So you've went and got a scholarship with that. And you're still working football off the park at a club like Motherwell. So, again, like we said, try to paint that backstory of you being your kind of a young, healthy guy. We'll go into the kind of nitty-gritty stuff here. So, when did it first come about that you noticed something different down there When did this all kind of first start for you?
To be honest, it was back pain I was getting. So
Right.
I had back pain for about 2 years, right? And it just wouldn't shift. And it felt like it just got worse and worse. And then it eased off a bit. I went to see doctors, physios, chiropractors, try and get it eased off a bit. But kind of kept trying to play football and stuff through it.
Did it affect you playing football? Did it annoy you while you were playing?
Aye, really annoyed me. My last season with Dunny Pace, it was like I was out injured all the time. And then because my back, I was overcompensating, so my muscles were starting to go, hamstring was tightening up, and I thought, is this me just getting old? Am I just fanced it? But it just, with other things, it just didn't really, I knew something was wrong with me, like something a wee bit deeper, but I was kind of trying to get on with it. My back pain, I just thought it was a bit of back pain getting a bit older, but it just was hindering me quite a bit. So that was the first sign anyway.
Aye. So, did you go to physio for it? What were they saying? I went
to physios, and it does just look, you can't really, obviously physios can't really see what's going on inside you. I think it's muscular, so got loads of treatment for it. And as I said, it wasn't, there was some days I started to wake up and it was like my full insides were like, it felt as if they were all tied up, if you know what I mean. It was uncomfortable pain all the time, and it just got worse. And I thought it was just back pain and just need to ease off. But I started getting other symptoms, like I was waking up in the middle of the night just drenched in sweat. I was getting the cold a bit more, and I don't usually get the cold. And like any of us, I think we don't go to the doctors early because you all think, I'm fine, I'll just go on with it. And it's a pain in the arse phoning them and waiting in the queue. And but went to doctors a couple of times and they were the same. They thought it was just muscular and just gave me cocodamol and up the road. So
Jesus.
For a long time I was kind of getting on with it. I actually done a run. I was due to do like a charity run. It was like a relay race thing. So it was like it was like a 5k loop, but you had to do it in a team of 4 for 24 hours.
Right.
And my back was killing me. I was going to pull out, but I was like, because we're doing a team, I thought I'll just get through it. We done it for a day, and I was absolutely done in after that. And then by that point, I knew that something was up. I ran myself into the ground, and the symptoms just kept getting worse and worse, to be honest.
So was that the kind of point where you thought, like say something was up, you actually had to take it more seriously than a kind of football injury, more an actual problem as such? So was that the kind of point where you kind of thought, I need to actually go to doctors and tell them something has to be done?
Well, after that one, after I'd done that run, I just thought it still is pain. I'm just doing too much on it. So I kind of went down. I decided to kind of take the football less serious. I was playing, not less serious, but I was still playing. But I was going to do Saturday morning because I thought it's too much on me training twice a week and my back's not recovering properly. So I still thought it was a football thing. But then through the next couple of months, I was feeling ill. I was feeling like really bad, and I think I got to the stage. I'd been to the doctor, so I was quite demented because I thought, I know there's something wrong with me, it's stressing me out, and I don't know what it is. So it just all kind of caved in one weekend. I could hardly sit down. I mean, it's bad when I turned down going to watch the football because I can't sit down for any length of time. And I just decided that this Sunday night, I just decided to go into A&E, and luckily they took me in and done tests and that on me to figure it out.
Oh, fucking hell, man. So you went to A&E, man. But I thought, again, I'll give you, before we go into A, obviously, just about it. When my first kind of panic thing when I thought I had something serious, I basically found a lump on one of my boys. I was just in the shower, I wasn't checking, but I felt I didn't feel right. And then Larry Wan's kind of curious and stuff like that. And I've and same again yourself. I think that is the biggest step. See, I kind of think I don't want to say MD, I don't want to go to doctors. That I kind of led me for a couple of days. I was like, oh no, I need to really say somebody. And I've ended up saying to my dad, and he's like, all right, okay, no worries, we'll phone doctors. And usually I'd phone doctors myself, and I don't like for boys, not like admitting you're something up with you, but my dad's like, don't worry, I'll phone doctor's appointment for you and stuff like that, blah, blah, and see if there's anything for it. And I remember actually, I went to my usual doctors, Dr. Hardy, in the family for years, right? And the one time we took a day off was the day I had to get the boys checked, wasn't it? So Um, it was some female name, I can't remember, right? But first and foremost, if this ever goes back in her, I apologise, right? But you know what it's like for a boy, like 21-year-old, and she's a blonde, attractive looking lady, and I'm like, Jesus. And I always remember my dad's face as she's called me into the office. My dad's went like, again, this is the kind of stigma for boys, who they don't want to get their private parts out in front of a doctor. And lucky enough, I stayed composed and there was no further accident like that. So she basically recommended I went for ultrasound as well. So again, at that point, I was kind of panicking, and fuck, because I was hoping that it would just tell me it was a cistern then or whatever. But they said no, you have to go to the Queen Elizabeth and get ultrasound. And again, I think it was just that whole experience, going through a wee scan and stuff like that. The reason why I bring that up, sorry, mate, that whole story was because I thought it'd be a case of having to go to doctors, get it checked, stuff like that. Whereas I didn't think, for your experience, it sounds like a bit of a process where for a kind of injury to going through all this, to go into A&E as if it was a actual accident that's happened. I thought it would be a case. So again, that's an eye opener in itself.
I think normally it is, but I didn't notice that a month ago, and so it had spread, like, so that's what was causing the problem. But even after I went to uni, I didn't think it'd be this to be what it was, to be honest with you. But I was in A&E for the pain. I thought it was maybe something with my kidneys or something that they could easily. I had no idea. That was the last thing I expected it would be. As you said, most folk go in, get checked, which is why it's important to keep checking. Stay on top of it, because that for me, if I noticed a lump early, then I might not have had to go through the full process.
Well, that's a bit of eye opener then, because, like you say, like maybe you've obviously caught it at a good stage here, but if people, especially boys again who play football or sport in general, they're going to, again, the natural instinct is to kind of bat it off and kind of go with things, like you say. But I guess it's a bit eye opener the way you've said it yourself, your kind of process. So you've went to A&E, mate, so you've done tests and stuff like that. How long did it take between then to then being diagnosed and told you with cancer? Was it in that whole one visit, or was there a bit of a process through that?
It was kind of like I was kept in overnight, and they said there was something showing up in my bloods, but again, they thought it was just a bit of inflammation. So I stayed in overnight, and then they sent me home, and then they brought me in the next day. So the following day they brought me in and said, we're going to do a scan. Even then I thought nothing of it. I thought, we'll do the scan and then it'll come back. I'll get some sort of medication that will take it away. So I came in the following day after that. I came in just to find out the results. And that's when they told me. They kind of pulled me into a separate room. And that's what I don't want to go to it, but that's when they took me in a room. It was me and my mum they took in. And they told me it was lymphoma originally. They said we found a tumour, quite a big tumour. It's lymphoma, which is another type of cancer. And we're 95% sure that's what it is. And you need to go to the beats and you need to get chemotherapy on this. So that's what they kind of broke the news.
How was that, mate?
See, to be honest with you, my mum was in tears, right? And I was wondering what she's crying about, because I just took the words that he said as I didn't. It was quite a relief to know what it was. I tried not to. I tried to get worried about words like cancer or anything like that. I tried to think it as, all right, there's a solution. So I was, that's fine, that's better than being told, oh, we don't know what's wrong with you, go up the road. They told me that's the solution. So I just saw it as a process, and I didn't, to be honest with you, it was quite strange because I had no emotion, no saying I had no emotion, but I was quite flat and calm about it all. Like, don't know, not if it never come again, but I just was like, let's just get on it.
But you can imagine your mum's point of view, son probably had heard by the worst bits of news they're probably heard, do you know what I mean? Again, your family must have been tore up for a while about it at the start.
The folk run about you, that's what I say, it's probably worse for the folk run about you because they have to deal with it and they have to worry about it. And you know in yourself you're going to be all right, but they don't know that, so it's a million times worse for everybody that's run about me than me, in my opinion, anyway.
So, was that your kind of attitude towards it then? Like, you always say, but like, I think it's quite admirable again to see people who do get the kind of your cancers, even guys like Fernando Rickson getting his disease. He had the attitude. I always think that guys who have the attitude a lot to kind of fight it, they always beat it. I feel as if that shows. Obviously, ends up they work it for guys like Fernando Rickson the disease. But I'm saying is in your circumstance, if you've had that kind of calmness at the early stage, do you think that's maybe helped you to overcome it?
I think I just drilled into myself just to be positive about it and just to see it like an opportunity. Like say, this has got to fix me. I'll not have any more pain, and I'll be even better than I was before. Kind of even stronger and fitter than I was before. So that was always my mindset to start. I think fitness sort of prepares you for that. But in America, I pay a lot of tribute to America for gearing me up for stuff like that. Like a lot of stuff. Definitely. But just being about a team, the sort of mental challenges of being away from home and physical challenges, I think that geared me up. And I think I just had it in my mind that I was going to turn it into a positive. And this was a problem that was going to get fixed. And I think I was going to just trust the process. So I think it's like football. Like if you go to pre-season and you moan or you ask questions all the time of why you're doing something, I think you struggle. But if you just go like that, right, this is why you're doing it. Let's get it done. That was pretty much my attitude towards it.
So like you say, talk about the process. What was the process from your diagnosis, mate, to your journal? Like this kind of bit.
So basically my diagnosis was a wee bit kind of messed up. This is what kind of threw me off a wee bit. So they told me it was lymphoma, and then I went away, kind of broke the news to people. I had my pal's wedding that weekend, and I went, and then I was due to get a meeting at the doctor's on the Monday. So I was at the hospital, sorry. And I was at the hospital and just ready for them to gear me up and tell me a bit about chemo. And then they told me, oh, we've got it completely wrong. It's testicular rather than lymphoma, which was a bit of a shock because I'd geared myself up. Not that I reached it or anything, but I geared myself up. And then as a guy, that kind of hits you hard. Like, so, and the doctor's like that to me. He's like, no, this is good news. He's like, it's a lot more treatable than lymphoma. And I'm thinking, what stage you at if the good news is you've got to get one of your boys taking it? You know what I mean?
Sorry, but see when you talk, how was your reaction compared to your calm kind of first reaction? So obviously it was a bit of a hit for you. Were you a bit more kind of, obviously ended up taking good news, but what I'm saying is, were you a bit more kind of like, what the fuck more? Or were you more, was it more positive or negative for you at that stage, Jan?
It was more negative for me that day, see, because I was geared up for something. Something else, and then that sort of got me questioning everything. So I think I was quite like angry towards the doctor, and it wasn't that his fault because he was the one that just took over and got it right. But I was kind of reacting like I can't told me the wrong thing, but it wasn't their fault sort of thing. It was just I felt just that threw me off track a wee bit. So probably that news was probably the hardest to digest. But then once I got it, I thought, you know what, this is better news than lymphoma.
So how did they explain to you that the testicular cancer was more positive than the lymphoma that you mentioned?
Well, they just said that it was usually more treatable. They said mine was a wee bit different because the tumour had spread quite a bit, and they were wanting to affect my lungs and stuff like that, which it was getting to that size. It was quite big. So they said we'll have to get chemo done straight away. Usually they'll do the operation, and then if they need to do chemo, they will. But for mine, it was get the chemo done as soon as possible so this doesn't grow in, so we can get this shrunk, and then we'll deal with it. So it was all kind of, you didn't really have time to sort of think about it. They just said basically the Beatson will phone you the next couple of days as soon as they've got a bed ready and you'll be in. So it was kind of, that was when it was all kind of a wee bit up there and a wee bit scary at that point, to be honest.
If you don't mind, mate, talk us through the whole chemotherapy kind of thing, because again, I don't personally understand it, so I'm sure there's guys listening who don't really know. So talk through the whole kind of process, man.
I was exact same. I didn't know anybody either really been through it at that stage. So I didn't know what the Beatson was. I didn't know what it was like. I knew roughly what it was, but I didn't know what it looked like. You know, going in that night was pretty kind of daunting, thinking, what's this place going to look like? What's chemo got to do with me? Basically, I went in, and the staff were brilliant with you. It's just to talk about the place a wee bit. It's like a really nice place. It's got lounges that you can sit in. It's got TV screens, you can get nice coffees and that. They treat you really well. It's brilliant. So it made me feel comfortable right away. And then the chemo was basically, I get told I'd be in every 3 weeks. I'd be in Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'd have the chemo in pretty much 12 hours a day, like through the night, kind of thing. So basically injected into you, and then that was sort of what the process would be.
So what is chemotherapy? What is the actual? What do they do to you? Is it just an injection, like you say, or what is it?
A tube goes into your hand, and to be honest with you, I didn't want to know too much about it. All I wanted to do is trust the doctors that this was going to work and get rid of it. It goes into and it basically destroys a lot of things in your body just to cure that cancer, get rid of that cancer. So it's sort of like I don't know if you're using the right words, but it's sort of to poison that tumour out it. So it's sort of difficult to put through. So it's so it was basically, to describe it, I would say, and they told me about the side effects, like you'd lose your hair, you might lose a bit of weight, your taste and stuff like that. But honestly, see, the first couple of days, it just felt like a massive hangover the next day, but a really, really bad one. Like you just felt drained. So pretty much what it was like.
So how were your family? And did you have a wee at the time, didn't you? How did she especially feel about that? Losing his hair, and how do your family in general cope with maybe see you go through that? It must have been, I can only imagine, it must be fucking horrendous, man.
I think it was tough, but that's what I tried to but also, I didn't really involve the one because I thought she doesn't need to know, she's young enough, and I just kind of, the hair thing, she thought I looked like a minion, and she was like, she found it quite funny, but it was I think it was trying to, whenever I was with her, just trying to keep things normal as I could, trying to have the energy to play about with her and stuff, and so she didn't really go into the bank. She knew wrong, but it would have been tough for everybody to see, that way.
How were you dealing after the kind of first few sessions yet, mate?
I think I was all right. I remember coming home and I was okay. I was kind of tired and that, but I was trying to get exercise every day, even if it was just going a walk or something. And, after a while, I don't know if it was after the second dose, my hair started to kind of come out, and I started to really see like losing a lot of weight. So I felt more tired going on, and the sickness was probably the main thing. It affects everybody differently, but I was probably sick every morning, and then sometimes every night I was just being sick, to be honest with you. So it was a wee bit tough to deal with and keep the energy up, but breath was a wee bit short and stuff like that.
Was there ever a time that you thought, I'm not going to make it, or I just can't do this anymore? Was there a point where you just thought, rock bottom, I give up kind of thing?
No, I wouldn't say there was ever that stage. I never thought that way. There was obviously days when you were a wee bit more like, mine. I was lucky because it was a short period I was getting this over, so I could see the end of like, can I get told regularly that it was working. But I would say towards my last phase of chemo, my last day, I was knackered, constantly being sick, and I thought, I can't go through another night of this injection into me. I thought, this is horrible. I'd say probably
did you know that was going to be a last night? But
well, they were fairly constant. They obviously had to do a scan after it, but they were taking my bloods throughout and saying like, it looks, your tumour markers have went down, so everything looks to be going well. So you've got the operation, but your chemo, this will hopefully be the last bit. So I remember just having to just get through that last night. Was tough, but I wouldn't say at any stage I really felt I knew I had to do it basically, and I thought just push through.
How long did the whole chemotherapy last for then, mate?
So it was about 3 months, I think, all in all. 3 months, I'd say the chemo was going on for, I think 3 or 4 months.
How did it affect? I'd imagine you're in off work and stuff like that. And how was your life? Obviously, you're struggling physically and mentally, but how was your quality of life apart from that? Was it?
That's where I tried to stay positive. When I'm not the type, I don't get. I keep myself busy. I tried to keep myself, occupied. My work was brilliant. They basically, the minute I went ill, they said, "Listen, get yourself right. Don't worry about how long you're off for." And they were incredibly supportive and stuff. So, but I think the worst thing was, see, as a like young person, as like not just as a guy, like women will be the same. Like, see if you're not working and you wake up and you've not really got nobody needs you for anything. It was like you're worthless. You do it and you're like that. Everybody just speaks to me as this unwell person that can't do anything for themselves, and everybody's and you appreciate everybody looking out for you, but you feel like you've got nothing positive to bring. You know what I mean? You feel like a shell of yourself, to be honest with you. Like,
Aye. So you've kept your chemotherapy, mate. What was the process like for there on, mate? So how did it go for there, mate?
Aye, so then it was just, I knew the kind of doctor said, we're confident it went well. We'll give you a few weeks to recover, and then we'll get you in for the operation. So I kind of had to get my head around that kind of thing. So I basically just tried to enjoy it. It was around about Christmas, so tried to just enjoy the Christmas, gradually get the taste buds back and feel a bit better and try and eat a bit more and build up my strength a wee bit. Started going to the gym a wee bit, and just getting myself going again. So that was the process up until the
Did you bevy?
I had a wee bit like that spell. Not mental, mate, just a couple.
The bad dog are up now.
I was quite. It was quite good to like get a couple of drinks and go back to the football again. Then I was going back and watching. I was going down to. I wasn't meant to be in big crowds, so I went down and watched Craig Rangers and stuff. Like, kept my distance. It was a wee bit of getting back to normal. A couple of days out.
Were you restricted to what you could do physically? Could you go like a wee jog? Could you do anything? Or was it just purely how physically you're feeling it?
They basically left it up to yourself. They said whatever you feel it doing. So I had days when walking out the street, see a couple of days after the weekend of chemo, walking out the street was tough because you're struggling to breathe. But I just set myself a challenge. I was like, just even if it's out the end of the street, get a walk in every day or something. And then as I was feeling better, I was maybe doing a few exercises in the house. And then as soon as kind of after the chemo, I started a wee bit of light jogging and stuff. But in terms of other restrictions, it was like your immune system was right down. So he said to me, it was pretty much like a lockdown, because he said to me, like, stay out of busy places, stay out of restaurants, like stay away from crowds because you don't want to catch anything because you're like a cold could flow to you. So that was quite tough to get used to. It was like just wanted to go for dinner and do the normal stuff.
Like, so how was it after your operation? Sorry, mate. Was that maybe a progression? Maybe you start to see there, or?
Aye, so I basically felt as if like the op, I had to get that done before I could like think I was all clear, if you know what I mean. So I got the op, and it wasn't long in recovery, to be honest with you. It was a few days, a day or so, and I was back up walking as normal. And then sort of they said to me, take your time, get 6 weeks, and then you can start sort of jogging and stuff like that. So I think my mind was just on do exactly. I'm usually one that takes shortcuts. Like physio tells you you're out for 3 weeks, within a week and a half.
Aye.
Do this,
boys.
Aye. So just that was the phase. It was like, right, that's it done. Let's count down the days and let's just do things properly and build myself up. Don't get frustrated. If you only for 5 minutes, then that's fine. Let's just build it up and be focused on coming back.
So what was? Sorry, my bird's trying to phone me. I mean, she's fucking. So you've came for that, mate. What was the kind of? Where was the light at the end of the tunnel for you? Where was the kind of between there and to kind of end? How did that go? Did you think? How does it go in terms of getting all clear? Do you need to go through tests and stuff like that again?
Well, basically, the light end of the tunnel. Right at the start, weirdly, my first night in Beatson, my mate a guy I played football. My mate got the job at Coolside Rangers that day. He got the Rangers job. So I kind of had it in my mind that I just felt it was coincidental timing. But I just had it in my mind. I was like, I'm going to go back and play. So I had that in my mind for the first day. So I think that kept me going. I hadn't spoken to him about playing again, but I just thought.
Sorry about butting in again here, mate. Did you think maybe to go back to the start of maybe your diagnosis, did you think that ever came to your mind that you might not play football again? Was it ever that thought? Was football even a thought? Maybe just kind of surviving this? Was it first kind of thing?
If anything, mate, it made me want to play football even more again. But I'd started playing in my mate's team. It was Rob Roy Amateurs. I was up for a while. And, they were like a good bunch of boys, and I played a couple of games with them. But I just for the minute I got told that, I didn't ever think I'd never play football again. I think that was, if anything, that made me want to play football again and get back to it. So I just never let it go in my mind that it wasn't a possibility. So I'd say that was probably the first thing. And then I think I just enjoyed getting back in the gym and just seeing progress, like to nothing. I'd lost about 3 or 4 stone, and I thought this will be brilliant. Just getting back into the gym and getting back to football and stuff. I thought this is a good.
Something to work towards, a bit of goal in it. Needs a bit of ambition, a bit of goal.
Mate, I'd lost a bit of the sort of fire in your belly for football a wee bit. The age I was getting to, and the pain in my back, so it gave me that again. It was like, hey, I'm going to make sure, and I'm going to appreciate being out, seeing the cold nights, being out training. I'm going to appreciate that now, because it can all get taken away in a minute.
Brilliant, mate. So when did your pal get the Kilsyth manager job? Just say, when did he get that then?
So he got that pretty much when I started chemo. So I remember messaging him just to say well done and getting the job, and then it kind of popped into my head. I was like, I want to play there again.
Well, don't get a job again to settle hoffs.
So I kind of had it in my head that night, and it was thinking like how far away I was for playing football, like at that stage. But it just gave me something to aim towards.
So like you say, so how long was it between your operation to your all clear? So when did you basically know you were but when did you feel you were nearly there, that you thought, right, I've beat this kind of thing, before it was confirmed?
So they'd said to me, like, they took your bloods through it, and as I said, they said to me it's looking good kind of thing. So I knew, I had a rough idea that once the op was done, that was it. But basically, I think it was maybe 4 weeks after the op, they got me in for another scan just to check, and then after that they brought me in and said, look, it's all looking good. There's still a wee bit of a tumour, but we don't think it's active, so that's you. You don't need any more treatment. We're going to obviously keep an eye on you, but that's you, pretty much done with all the treatment.
So was that the all clear as such, or was it keep an eye on you?
No, I think they always keep an eye on everybody.
Right, all right, okay.
3-month appointments to 6 months and then a year, so they're always, which is brilliant, to be fair.
What was that feeling like? Maybe you could tell that then.
Mate, it was weird, because I expected a big celebration, a buzz, and it's relief, but because I never allowed to get myself down, I couldn't get that excited. I was dead flat when I came out. Like,
what are you?
It's as if it takes a while to process, but it was weird. I mean, that you should be like buzzing in that, but I wasn't. I was kind of like, all right, and that was a kind of worrying feeling, because I'm like, I should be buzzing. You know what I mean?
Maybe, mate, but I think that's just credit to yourself, mate, because maybe if you let yourself get done, like you said, it may be a bit of a longer process for you. But again, if you get yourself too high, mate, you might not appreciate like football and stuff like that. Again, you're thinking that stuff like that. But again, it must have been great for your family, mate, knowing that you were recovered and stuff like that. Get your life back as such as well, mate.
Aye, definitely, mate. The feeling. It was a good feeling, but I just think it just takes a while to process everything. It took longer than expected, to be honest with you. Even now, I don't really process what happened. You know what I mean? I play it down, you kind of just get on with things, but you don't feel it. Isn't it like a buzzing feeling? Do you know what I mean?
Aye. What about your first kind of football session back and stuff like that? Did the kind of journey your own come into mind, or did you ever think about, I've just came back for having fucking testicular cancer here? Was that ever on your mind? Or were you just buzzing just to get back going to the park playing and training, mate?
I was buzzing, and I went and quite quickly I built up some sort of fitness, and I went and played with Rob Roy Amateurs, and I came off the bench, and I mind, like, my mate runs a team, Kieran, and he kind of said I was quite buzzing coming on the pitch, like just the feeling of going back on a football pitch, and then kind of the boys will give me a round of applause at the end in the changing room. It was quite like
brilliant, man.
Later on, like, and my dad came to watch and stuff like that, so good feeling, mate, to think, like, it took a while to sink in, but I tried to soak it up to that. You know what? This is amateur football on a freezing cold Saturday morning, but I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Do you know what I mean? It was
exactly, mate. It's going to pat yourself on the back, mate. Like you say, you've been able to come from able to walk at your front door, mate, like you say, to playing football, mate. And then when did you end up back at Kilsyth then? When did you?
Well, that's when kind of things kind of obviously slowed down with COVID. So the week, so I went back to training on the Thursday. I just said I messaged the gaffer and just said, can I come in and train me? Just to build the fitness up again. And so I trained.
Is it still your pal, no?
I still my pal, but he's I said to him, and I came in training one night, and then 2 days later, the lockdown got announced, and that was it. So I was like,
sick, man. Well, mate.
So it was, at least it was enough to get the fitness up again. But I was just getting back into it, and then that happened. But then he said to us, come back into pre-season. So it was just, even though we had no idea when it was going to be, it just gave me something for pre-season.
Brilliant, mate. Brilliant. So how is life now? Like, how do you see yourself? Have you got any kind of goals in terms of what you want to do? Because I've always looked at social media, you're always fucking climbing hills and jumping in the water and all that, mate, and doing things. Like, I actually feel ashamed talking to you now because I'm the kind of boy, like you say, I've been really kind of lost the kind of spark for football a wee bit in terms of playing and going doing a bit of running and going to the gym now. I kind of feel ashamed talking to you because, again, I wouldn't say I'm lazy, but again, I think it's just a spark's meant for me. But now I think, not just myself, I think a lot of people kind of will take, I think, obviously the way the world is now, people won't take things for granted anymore, but listen to yourself, it'll kind of give boys a bit up the arse to kind of, especially younger ones are coming through and stuff like that. But how do you feel about life now? Are you thankful? Are you proud? Are you ambitious now to go looking forward?
I mean, first of all, it kind of like with kind of COVID kicking in, it kind of put all the plans in the back burner. I thought, like, I'll go a brilliant holiday, I'll go and do this. I obviously put everything in the back burner, and that was tough and needed a bit of help. Like, because I think one thing is, after your kind of journey through cancer, I think it really hits you afterwards because the messages stop. Do you know what I mean? Nothing out of badness, but everybody gets on with their life. Do you know what I mean? You're not getting 20 messages asking how you are. And that feeling, I felt flat for ages. I tried to keep going, but helped with speaking to boys. I spoke to a boy I know, Ryan, one of my mates. He kind of told me that he'd been through it. I didn't know that about him. And he kind of helped me through it. A couple of other folk helped us through it and gave us a bit of advice how you'll feel after it. And that kind of picked me back up. But in terms of like goals, then I had I wanted to do a half marathon. Right. That got cancelled by COVID, so I ended up doing that in my garden.
Did you? I
actually just ran around in a circle for half a day. And I just think like I've done this year, it's kind of been like plans I put a bit on hold, but I'm thankful for what I came through and just wanting to get back to football, kick on things and be quite proud, look back on this kind of chapter of faith and be proud of, a journey to be proud of and sort of kick on fitness wise. And I think the main mess, I don't want to take in for granted again. Like you say, I was going to ask you, what would you say to anybody who's kind of in the situation that you were in, mate, even as before getting checked or while you're going for chemotherapy, what would you say to these guys who would be in that position? I think what I struggle with is talking about it. See, because it was testicular cancer, and I told everybody it was lymphoma, I stuck my head in the sand and didn't want to talk about it. And to be honest with you, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do it. There was other folk that were dead open about it. It just took me some time. So I'd say deal with your way. There are other folk who gave me advice of saying, do all your research on it. I didn't think that was right. I thought, just get my head down and get on with it. I think just the positive mindset is the most important thing. Like, no matter if it's cancer or whatever, if you're going through a tough time, I think just staying positive, like focusing on what the end goal is and what you're going to do afterwards, rather than dwelling or feeling sorry for yourself or any negativity. Because I kind of thought about it and I thought, you know what, I'm going through something that loads of people have came through. There's a lot of people, as I said at the start, like you look at Fernando Rickson, what his attitude was like, and that's what being told you've pretty much got no chance of beating something. So you've got to just put things in perspective, be thankful. And I think I was always grateful as well at the Beatson, because in this country we're so lucky that I got all that treatment for free, like all the first class treatment, one of the best in the world. Nurses, doctors, volunteers are all taking care of you, so don't take that for granted. Trust what they're saying, take the help you can get and speak to people about it.
Brilliant, mate.
message, I would say.
So football wise, I get the impression off you, mate, you've got to try and play as long as you can now. Is that your kind of plan now?
Aye, mate.
Craig, sorry, mate.
What is it?
What age are you now?
I'm going on 34, mate.
No, you're not, are you?
I'm in, mate. David Weir.
Fuck's sake. I jelly thought you were 30-year-old to be.
No, mate, I'm 33 now. I'm going on 34. I mean, my plan is to play as long as I can. As I said, enjoyed it. Started with Coolside for pre-season. Season get kind of cut short, but just enjoying being back part of the team, and I want to just keep playing as I can and keep enjoying it, to be honest with you, and keep myself as fit as I can.
You got to take yourself next season or what?
What is it, sorry?
For next season, yeah. You signed for Kilsyth next season, or you?
Well, because
the next season now.
The season's been put on hold. We don't know if it's got to start again, but like, so we don't know what's happening this season. Never mind next, but I really enjoy it there and really like it. That's a good squad they've got. It's competitive, so I'd want to stay there as long as I can.
Yeah, I'll give you a text this summer then if you're signing off, try to get it to Glasgow Wellington, mate, or something.
That's a good reply.
Aye, mate. Hey, Craig, mate. Sorted, man.
Brilliant.
Cheers for that one, man. I enjoyed that, mate. That was quite good to